All right, Mal, before we get going here, there is one more thing to do, and that's to break down the Concho Valley region. So, Concho Valley, one of the smaller regions that we break it up into in the state of Texas, and it's not smaller in size. Geographically, it stretches pretty far. It's kind of right there in like the middle part of Texas. But the reason that it's broken up so much is because with there being so many miles in between these programs, some of them fall into the big country, some of them fall better into the hill country, some of them fall better into West Texas. So it's kind of that middle part in between all the rest of those larger regions from a population wise of schools. So we'll take a look at the two ranked teams in the Concho Valley. And that would be, starting off in District 2 of 3A Division 2, it is the number 4th ranked Wall Hawks. They are 2-1 on the season, a big win over Eastland and an even bigger win over Cisco. That was a very impressive 27-10 win over the Big Damn Lobos. Week 3, they went and they punched up to 3A Division 1 to play Jim Ned. Ended up only losing by 3, and that, in our mind, punching up into a really good Jim Ned team is a way for us to keep them at number 4. They have a matchup against Peaster this week, and then a week off before the big rivalry game out there that everyone loves. It's not a district rivalry, just two fun football teams going head-to-head every single year with the Mason Punchers. But Houston Guy, that flexbone offense is absolutely operating. Their senior fullback, Nathan Pepper, he was injured some last year, but they expected him to come back in a huge way, and he has so far. He's averaging about 60 yards on the ground every single week, so that's been really fun. And then leading the charge on defense, junior linebacker Ethan, and I think it's Michaelwitz, but I could be wrong on that. Apologies to Ethan if I said that wrong, but he's 12 tackles per game. He has really been the bright spot of that Wall defense, and traditionally on offense, Wall is just going to beat you with size and speed because they're really big up front and they can absolutely just pound it, and that's what they've been doing so far. But the Wall Hawks off to a really good start out there for the Concho Valley. The other ranked team in the Concho Valley out of District 3 in 2A Division 1. How about the Sonora Broncos coming in the top 10 of 2A Division 1, 3-0 on the year, big win over Ballinger on the road to start the season, then another huge win over Cahoma, and then they just finished off a win at El Dorado last weekend, and this week they're going to go take on the Bucks of Alpine. They are a 22-point favorite, according to the WTF computer. Yeah, pretty big favorite there over Alpine, who's been struggling a little bit. But Blake Weston, the head coach in his third year, took over a program that was consistently getting at max 4 wins a year. And year one came back 7-4. Last year, 10-3, made a good run there into the playoffs. And this year off to a 3-0 start with quite a few more wins, it looks like, on the docket. And the biggest reason for that, the mitochondria of the cell, if you will, are their quarterback and their athlete and linebacker, Edgar DeLuna. Edgar DeLuna is insane. Are you talking about him in Players to Watch?
I am not. I'm talking about their quarterback.
Okay,
actually.
well, yeah, the quarterback's been great, but Edgar DeLuna, man, averaging 249 rushing yards per game.
Yeah.
Already has 11 touchdowns on the seasons. And then here's the other side of this, just for fun in his linebacker duties. 11 tackles per game, 1 interception, and 2 forced fumbles, just to rattle off.
That's
for
light
3
work.
games, guys. 249 rushing yards per game, 11 touchdown, 11 tackles per game, 1 interception, 2 forced fumble, all in 3 games. He is that dude out there in Sonora, and that's saying something because Mallory will talk about his counterpart there at quarterback, who we've had our eyes on for quite a few years now. But Blake Weston's very excited about what his Broncos are doing out there in the Concho Valley. So now, in like a perfect lateral tease, let's throw it over to Miss Mallory Hartley to expand a little bit more on the fantastic players to watch in the Concho Valley.
Correct. Let's just get right into it here. We'll start off in one of the higher classifications in the Concho Valley, which, speaking of, there's only 24 teams in the Concho Valley, and then I'd say 90% of them are 3A and lower. There's only one team in 6A, which is San Angelo Central. And then there's one 4A Division 1 team, which is San Angelo Lakeview. And then all the rest are 3A Division 2 and less.
Yeah,
so that's
a lot of small towns.
A lot of small towns, a lot of small school ball, but nonetheless, it's still a lot of fun. So let's start off in 3A Division 2. We'll go with San Angelo TLC Academy quarterback Lane Honia. I believe that is how you say his name. But he put up big numbers last season. 1,900 passing yards and 23 touchdowns through the air last season, and has just been even more explosive this season. Last week against Winters, he completed 16 of 23 passes and threw for 351 yards and 5 touchdowns. And many news sources actually named him the Concho Valley Athlete of the Week. So if that doesn't prove that he's just an all-out baller, I don't know what else does. And fun fact, he led San Angelo TLC in breaking their 24-game losing streak last season by throwing 6 touchdowns in Game 1 of this season. Like you mentioned, they went winless in 2021 and 2022, or 2020 and 2021, and then led him to a 4-7 season last season, and now they already have 2 wins on the season. So it's only growing up here, and he is a huge part of that reason.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is a signal caller stepping up to
really
be able to make some noise. And I mean, you know, they're kind of out there on their own a little bit. But they have a chance to represent for San Angelo, and that's something that, you know, hasn't been done in quite a few years. Obviously, when Brent Davis was out there at San Angelo Central, they had some good years, and it hasn't necessarily lived up to that at this point. So yeah, if TLCA can get going, Lane will be the reason for that.
Yeah, they're actually, their last winning season was back in 2015, I saw. So they're on the trajectory to break that record now. Moving on down, we've already mentioned his name, but let's talk a little bit more about him. It's Wall fullback Nathan Pepper, who's been there for a couple years. And for a guy that only played 9 games last season, he's kind of he got bitten by the injury bug quite a bit last season. His stats were pretty impressive. 135 carries for 1,065 yards and 15 touchdowns. He's averaging about 8 yards per carry, so that's pretty impressive. This season, he's had 27 carries for 178 yards and a touchdown. I think he's been a little bit injury bitten this year too, but he's expected to be fully back this week against Peaster. And yeah, he's part of that flexbone offense, and really just any kind of threat to any defense due to his speed and his agility. His footwork is absolutely insane. And then, yeah, so that's all I got on this guy.
Dude, he's so good. Like, if you're of the mindset of we need more fullbacks in Texas high school football,
yes.
Nathan Pepper is it. Like, he is so fun to watch. I just hope that he can stay healthy, because that's exactly what happened. He only missed about 4 games last year, so it wasn't too detrimental, but I believe they were in the latter half of the season when they really needed him. But he's just a big old electric player.
Mm-hmm.
We need shirts that say football flexbone fullbacks.
Football, flexbone, and fullbacks. Wallhawks.
Wallhawks. Go Wall.
Go Wall.
Caw.
Yeah. Well, and that just comes with the position of being a fullback too. You kind of are. You put yourself out.
Yeah,
there
he's that old. I was gonna say
it's old style,
old school,
ball,
running the
hard
flex
hitting.
bone.
Exactly.
He's just gonna mow you over.
Right.
I shout out Nathan Pepper.
Yeah, he's
Pepper,
fun.
pickle, fullbacks, football,
vegetables.
Yes.
Pickle.
Correct.
Mark it, stamp it. Love it.
No notes. Absolutely no notes.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's talk about him. Sonora quarterback and defensive back Jamie. You're going to have to help me. Burton. I think it's Burton.
Yes.
But I could be completely wrong. Bittron? Maybe Bittron. I suck at names. Anyways. Let's keep it moving.
I feel like I've said it 17 times before, and then you asked me how to say it, and I just blanked trying to read it.
Anyways, freaking awesome quarterback. Threw for over 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns last season, and he rushed for over 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns on the ground last season. And then I'm not done, because look, he also plays defensive back.
Because why not?
78 total tackles, 3 sacks, and 6 interceptions on the season last year. And I'd say he's pretty much the glue that keeps this whole team together. He returned this season as the leading passer, the leading rusher, sacks leader, and an interception leader. It's so funny when we talk about guys like this because it's just the and he's just the do-it-all dude for this team. And what makes him the most dangerous is his elusiveness and his ability to use his legs at literally any given moment, whether that be on a design play or if it's just him trying to make something out of absolutely nothing. He's going to use his legs and he's gonna gain a couple of yards there. And he also can throw on the run too with great accuracy. So this dude is just all around dangerous, and no team wants to face a guy like this.
No, between him and Ethan, like, it's scary. It genuinely. Sonora, once those two, they're gelling.
They're cooking.
And they're cooking.
Let them
cook. Like, they're going to keep cooking.
Exactly.
But no, that's a hell of a pair out there for Sonora.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on down to Mason running back, and I did not put this on here, but he also plays a little bit of defense as well. Ryan Todd, he's the do-it-all kid for the Punchers. He rushed for over 1,400 yards on 181 carries and 21 touchdowns. He caught 12 passes for 165 yards and 1 touchdown last season. And then let's switch over to the defensive stats, shall we?
And
94 total tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 5 interceptions on the season. Another do-it-all player. And that's what you're going to get when you start moving down these classifications. You're going to get just all-out athletes that coaches like, heck yeah, we're going to put you on both sides of the ball. You're an athlete. You're a stud. I mean, you're going to succeed on both sides of the ball there.
Well, and that's you want to talk about, I teased it earlier, but week 6, Mason and Wall play. And you want to talk about going to a game that is not going to take up much of your Friday night.
No,
go to Mason and Wall.
Keep running.
Because Pepper and Todd are just going to trade off absolutely blowing past people. And that's going to be a game absolutely decided on by whose defense steps up against one of those two players.
Right. You get the flex bone offense in Wall, and then you get the wing T offense here in Mason. That's going to be it
rules.
It's going to be
and the clock will not stop.
No, it won't.
If we even tried to check into that game, it would be like, our show's not even started yet, and that game's already in like the 4th quarter.
Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and round it out in the smallest classification. Erie and County running back and linebacker Parker Posey, another two-way player, 2-year starter on varsity, 28 carries, 202 yards, and 6 touchdowns. On the ground, 5 catches for 247 yards and 7 touchdowns as a receiver, and then 99 total tackles on the year last year. Obviously a very, very impactful two-way player. He led the way last season in their historic run to the state semis, and then, of course, they fell short to Abbott, I believe, in the state semifinals. Pretty good slate of kids here to watch in the Concho Valley. A lot of smaller school players, like I said, but it almost seems more fun to me to look at these smaller school kids because of the kind of stats that they put up on both sides of the ball. I just think that's so freaking cool to watch. I mean, you see kids getting over 2,000 yards on the ground as a running back, and then you switch it over and they're like, oh yeah, he's also a linebacker and he has over 101 tackles on the season. Like, it's really cool to see that. But you get a lot of that in the Concho Valley, and sometimes that's even better than all the big name guys that, go play Division I ball.
Oh yeah, no, you ain't got to convince me that small school ball rules.
It rules. Concho Valley is a living proof of that. So
very well have been and will always be on that train. So there you go, the ranked teams and the players to watch in the Concho Valley. If you're not doing anything week 6, Wall and Mason.
Heck yeah.
Slaps every time. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.